Hello everyone, today is 20th and I'm going to give you a comprehensive fundamental equity research analysis report for July 20th, 2026, and we shall see where to expect the stock to go higher after all this huge news for today. Please like, share and subscribe, and my name is Dr. Wilson, taking you through this analysis. Now, the price action that we see today, we see that Zeta this morning closed at 21.68 on Friday, which was up 1.31% on the session, with the previous close, which was $21.40, and today opened at $20.75, and that's a gap down of about 4.3% from Friday's close. So the pre-market trading saw a low of 20.61 and a high of 22.02 before retreating. So the day's range so far has been 20.60 to 22.49. Now, before we go any further, we need to know the macro calendar for this week. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we expect to see existing home sales data, which matters because housing is a leading indicator for consumer confidence and inflation stickiness. Thursday, we expect initial jobless claims and the Chicago Fed National Activity Index, which has been creeping up over the several weeks. And Friday, we expect S&P Global Flash PMIs, which is the big one for this week. Now, what is Zeta Global? This is Zeta Global Holdings Corporation, which operates an omnichannel data-driven cloud platform that provides enterprises with consumer intelligence and marketing automation software. The company operates the Zeta marketing platform, a single platform designed to enable enterprises to acquire, grow, and retain customer relationships. But here's the key: the company is in the middle of a major strategic pivot. Executives have said Zeta is moving beyond its core marketing technology positioning and towards what they describe as an AI infrastructure and business intelligence platform. And this shift is supported by recently announced partnerships with Palantir, OpenAI, and Snowflake. So looking at the valuation reality, let me take you through the numbers. The market cap currently stands at approximately $5.40 billion, with about 249.26 million shares outstanding. And the beta is 1.37, moderately higher than the broader market. Yet Zeta is not yet profitable on a GAAP basis. The trading PE ratio is negative because the company reported a net loss of $23.16 million over the trailing 12 months, with a EPS of negative 11 cents, and the forward PE is 22.16. The price-sales ratio is about 3.76 on a trailing basis and 2.92 on a forward basis, which is actually quite reasonable for a high-growth AI company. The PEG ratio is 0.7, suggesting the stock is undervalued relative to its expected growth. So for fiscal year 2026, analysts expect revenue of approximately $1.79 billion, up from $1.30 billion in 2025, representing 36.99% growth. For fiscal 2027, revenue is expected to reach $2.07 billion, another 16.10% increase. EPS for 2026 is expected to be 93 cents, rising to $1.15 in 2027. The company also raised its full year 2026 revenue guidance by $30 million into $1.785 billion at a midpoint, up from prior $1.755 billion, reflecting year-over-year growth of 37%. So let's look at the strategic pivot, why this matters. What makes Zeta particularly compelling right now is the strategic transformation underway. First, the parent integration is expected to complete its first phase within 30 to 40 days, with existing data cloud clients moving on to Palantir's Foundry platform. Second, the company is formally adding a fourth use case called Zeta Business Intelligence, or ZBI, alongside customer acquisition, retention, and monetization. Third, Zeta's Athena AI product, which became generally available earlier this year, is positioned as a key interface for the company's platform. Again, Zeta has partnered with OpenAI and Snowflake that are accelerating the shift to an AI infrastructure platform. Now, looking at the institutional picture, which is a strong conviction, Wall Street is broadly bullish on Zeta, and according to 14 analysts polled by S&P Global, Zeta Global Holdings stock has a consensus rating of strong buy, with an average price target of 28.68, representing around 32.29% upside from current levels. So the forecasts range from a low of $22 to a high of $44. So the recommendation breakdown shows 10 strong buys, 2 buys, and 2 hold, no sells or strong sells. Now institutional ownership stands at 74.42%, with insiders owning 11.56%. Short interest is 36.40 million shares, representing 14.60% of shares outstanding, a significant short position that could fuel a short squeeze if the stock moves higher. So, if you're enjoying the breakdown, please like, share, and subscribe. So the bull case for Zeta rests on several pillars. First, we see growth is accelerating, 50% year-over-year revenue growth with a 19-quarter beat and raise streak. That's an extraordinary track record of execution. Second, the strategic pivot to AI infrastructure opens up a much larger total addressable market. Third is the valuation, which is reasonable, with a forward PS of around 2.9 for a company growing revenue at 50% is not expensive by AI standards. Fourth, the company is on the cusp of profitability. Management expects positive GAAP net income in 2026. When that happens, the valuation multiple could expand significantly as the market relates the stock. The bear case is equally worth considering. First is profitability remains elusive, and second, margins are still under pressure. Adjusted EBITDA margin declined 100 basis points to 16.7 in the first quarter as new agency customers initially spent through lower margin social channels. Third, the stock has already had a significant run. Zeta has gained 38.71% in the past 52 weeks and is up over 50% from the 52-week lows. So, bringing it together, where does that leave us for this week? Starting Monday, July 20th, in the near term, Zeta may trade within a wide range depending on how Thursday's jobless claims and Friday's PMI data reshape rate expectations. But the underlying story here is genuinely compelling. Company with 50% revenue growth, 19 consecutive beat and raise quarters, and a strategic pivot into AI infrastructure, backed by partnerships with Palantir, OpenAI, and Snowflake, and a valuation that's not stretched by AI standards. The company is on the cusp of GAAP profitability, which could be a significant catalyst, and Zeta is scheduled to report earnings on August 1st, 2026. So, what are your thoughts about this company? Remember to put God first in whatever you do, and also like, share, and subscribe for more updates on Zeta stock. See you then.